Happy NBA Draft Night, fellas. Harrison Graham here with an episode of NBA Now by Chat Sports. And ESPN unveiled its final 2023 NBA mock draft. Of course, the draft gets going tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 Central. We're going to be live 2 hours prior to that at what time is that? It's 5 Central, 6 Eastern. You know, math is hard these days. 2 hours prior to the draft, we're going to be live. If you see this thumbnail, that is us. So click on that video. Join us here at Chat Sports. Set a reminder. Turn on your notifications. Subscribe. Don't miss any of it. 5 o'clock Central, 6 Eastern, 3 on the West Coast. We will be live. Okay, let's get into this final mock from ESPN. No surprises off the top. Victor Wembenyama, he goes to the San Antonio Spurs, should be a generational talent. Number 2, that's where things are starting to get interesting. Now, ESPN unveiled this mock very early this morning. Brandon Miller, the forward out of Alabama, which that had been the chatter the past 24, 48 hours. The Hornets brought him and Scoot Henderson in for a final visit, and the report from Adrian Wojnarowski is that they were expected to take Brandon Miller. Now, there's some chatter today, as in this mock, the Trailblazers go Scoot Henderson, but the Hornets could be shifting their thought, according to reports, and could pivot to Scoot Henderson. The betting odds, the sports books have shifted in that direction. Now, sometimes that means that Vegas knows something we don't. Sometimes that means that they're just trying to manipulate the books. You just never know what that could be there, but I definitely think it's still a toss-up and that Charlotte has not necessarily made a final decision. So who should go number 2? That is the real question here. If you think it's Brandon Miller, type BM. If you think Scoot Henderson should be the selection at number 2, type SH. So Miller goes 2, Scoot goes 3 to Portland. Amen Thompson, the first of the 2 Thompson brothers out of the G League Ignite, goes to the Houston Rockets at 4. His brother Ausar Thompson goes to the Detroit Pistons to round out the top 5. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out as well. 6 through 10 here, Anthony Black, the guard out of Arkansas, who's kind of just consistently been up here in that top 10. He goes number 6 to Orlando. The Pacers then take Jarris Walker, one of the high risers in recent weeks, the forward/small ball center out of the University of Houston. He lands with Indiana at number 7. At number 8, the Washington Wizards, who've been busy as of late, trading Bradley Beal, trading Kristaps Porzingis. They land Cam Whitmore, the wing out of Villanova. Now, there's been some buzz that Whitmore could be sliding a bit. Could he creep outside of the top 10? We'll have to wait and see. Taylor Hendricks out of UCF, a player the Mavericks really like. He goes a pick before the Mavericks at number 9. The Utah 3-and-D type of player. And then Dallas selects Derek Lively, the second out of Duke. Now, a lot of buzz between the Mavs, who pick at number 10, and the Hawks, who pick at number 15, that there could be some kind of trade involving either Clint Capella or John Collins from Atlanta side, Tim Hardaway Jr., Davis Bertans on the Mavs side, including swapping 10 and 15 as well. So I ask you, what will the Mavericks do with the number 10 pick in the NBA draft tonight? Type T if you think they'll trade it, or type K if you think they'll keep it. I'd say it's like 70-30 they're going to trade it. The Mavericks want a win-now piece to pair with Luka Doncic and hopefully Kyrie Irving if they can re-sign him. So I'm going to type my T for trade. With the 11th selection in ESPN's final mock, they go Grady Dick to Orlando. I think the best just pure shooter in this draft. I would like this pick quite a bit. At number 12, Bilal Coulibaly, Victor Wembenyama's teammate out of Metropolitans 92. He's been rising quickly as well. He goes to OKC at number 12. Kobe Buffkin out of Michigan, kind of a combo guard. He goes to Toronto at number 13. Jordan Hawkins, he's been rising too. They've got him sneaking into the lottery with the Pelicans with the 14th selection as well. And then the Atlanta Hawks, Jalen Hood-Schifino, one of executive producer Nick Roloff's favorite players in this class. He lands at the guard out of Indiana with the Atlanta Hawks. All right, first half done. Let's get through the second half here. Keontae George, I still think one of the biggest wild cards in this draft. I think in 3 years we're going to look back and Keontae George is either going to be a top 5 player from this class or potentially out of the league. I really do think it could go either way. The Baylor guard, super athletic, capable offensively. I think he's got some defensive upside, but I think a lot of it's between the ears. He goes to the Jazz at number 16. Jet Howard, another player out of Michigan, the wing out of the Wolverines, goes to the Lakers at number 17. The Miami Heat, Eastern Conference champs, they take Cason Wallace, the guard out of Kentucky, with the 18th selection. At number 19, Golden State, Brandon Podziemski, the guard out of Santa Clara. He's been drawing a lot of hype and praise as of late. Top 20 pick in this ESPN mock draft. Now, the Lakers at 17, Warriors at 19. They had a competitive second-round playoff series. LeBron in L.A., Steph in Golden State. Who is going to be the better team this next season in the 23-24 season? If you think it's going to be the Lakers, type LAL. If you're going with the Golden State Warriors, type GSW. I think these could be two of the top contenders out west next season. With the 20th selection in this mock from ESPN, the Rockets select the forward out of Marquette, Olivier Maxence Prosper. Prosper been moving up draft boards as of late as well, so the Rockets add another talented young player here. The Brooklyn Nets have the next two picks, and they first select Noah Clowney, the big out of Alabama. Brandon Miller, the first Bama player to go in this draft. Clowney should be a first-round pick as well, so Brooklyn adds him there. They also get Nick Smith Jr., the guard out of Arkansas, so they get a pair of SEC players, a guard, a big to pair together. I'll be keeping an eye on Brooklyn tonight with those two selections to see if they make a trade. With the 23rd selection, the Portland Trailblazers select Jaime Jaquez Jr., the forward out of UCLA. Jaquez, a player that should go in the first round tonight. Chris Murray joins his brother in Sacramento, the forward out of Iowa. Keegan, his brother, a top 10 pick a year ago. Chris Murray joining him in Sacktown in this mock. That would be a cool story for sure. Ryan Rupert, the wing out of the New Zealand Breakers. Boston, of course, trading up into the draft last night. A big draft. Rupert landing in Boston here. Let's just kind of re-hit that trade that went down because it was a wild one. Kristaps Porzingis, the 25th pick, and a first next year going to Boston, which is pretty wild. Marcus Smart goes to Memphis, and then the Wizards get Tyus Jones, Danilo Gallinari, Mike Muscala, and a second-round pick in this draft from Boston, number 35 overall. But I look at this, and if Porzingis can stay even just somewhat healthy, they're huge winners because they get a couple of firsts as well. Who wins this trade? What say you? Type BOS for the Boston Celtics, MEM for the Memphis Grizzlies, or WAS for the Washington Wizards. I'm going with Boston. I think the Wizards big losers here. Okay, James Nagy, the center out of Barcelona. Here's to see how quickly he can translate to the NBA game. Leonard Miller, after Nagy goes to Indiana, he goes to Charlotte, another Ignite player. Here, with the 28th selection, the Utah Jazz select Maxwell Lewis, the forward out of Pepperdine. Denver, the NBA champs, they had Ben Shepherd, one of the better shooters in this draft. Had a really good combine as well. I had him as one of our combine winners back when that went down. And then with the 30th pick, the LA Clippers, Derek Whitehead, the center out of Duke, to wrap up this ESPN NBA mock draft. But it's time to just throw those mocks into the fire, right? Because after Victor Wembenyama goes to the Spurs tonight, all bets are off. I mean, like I said, the number 2 pick situation very much up in the air at this point. Will it be Scoot Henderson? Will it be Brandon Miller? We're going to break it down. That's why you subscribe and join us tonight. 5 o'clock Central. Draft starts at 7 Central. We'll see you then here at Chat Sports.